Guys, it's Ben here and welcome to Motivation to Invest. I'm here with Mariusz, an incredible investor who's recently invested into a company that he's incredibly bullish on. Now, Mariusz is from the Overlooked and Undervalued YouTube channel, and also he has his own investment fund. So Mariusz, great for you to be here. How are you doing today? And do you want to talk to us about this company that you're so excited about?
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I have a couple YouTube channels that specifically talk about stocks. One of them is called Micro Cap Explosions.
Okay.
And then the other one is just Stock Hunter. The one that you referred to was my podcast that we did, you and I did a while ago. But for individual stocks, micro cap explosions, that's where I really break it down. So you're right. So I am a big investor in a company called Aduro Clean Technologies. I actually own 1% of the company.
Wow.
I've been invested in it since 2022. So if you do the math, I have about $5 million in this stock. It's a big portion of my my net worth. And the interesting part is the company has no revenues right now.
Okay.
So you might be asking, what is this crazy dude doing, owning 1% of the company, a lot of his portfolio into it?
Yeah.
It's not something that's typical.
So I'm really curious actually. So you've got a very high conviction bet, and as great investors like Charlie Munger used to say, rather than diversification and investing into lots of things you don't know, you seem to invest it into something that you know, but maybe not the market. The market doesn't fully understand yet. So do you want to talk us through like why you made such a high conviction bet in this particular stock?
There are very few opportunities in our lifetime where we can find like one in a million, and I believe that's what Aduro is. So just a 40-second pitch, elevator pitch. So as I said, Aduro does not have revenues today, but they have discovered something that can create tremendous value for society and for its shareholders. So for those of you that don't know about plastic is a problem all over the world. The governments, we're polluting the planet, and many people don't even realize that we're not really recycling much plastic. Less than 10% of plastic is being recycled, even though we put plastic in the plastic bins. It's not being recycled. It goes straight to the landfill or it's being burned, and so it's a huge problem. And so Aduro was able to develop a technology that is able to take plastic and break it down into the basic components that plastic was made from. So plastic circularity. But the way they developed it was actually by a mistake, because their technology is not just a technology that can recycle plastic, it's a platform technology, because they are able to work with hydrocarbons, and hydrocarbons are everywhere. Oil, and that's how it started. They were working in Canada on heavy oil, bitumen. In Canada, they produce a lot of bitumen, and the problem with that is that it's like wax. It's like peanut butter. It cannot flow through pipelines. And so they developed a way to take those long hydrocarbons and shorten them, and being able to upgrade the oil to a better quality and also make the oil flow through pipelines without the need of diluent. And when they discovered this, they also realized that the same technology can be used to recycle plastic, because polymer, which is plastic, bitumen is the nature's polymer, and it's the same thing. So now their main focus is on plastics. Their technology works. It's been validated independently. For example, in December of last year, they graduated from what's called the Shell Game Changer program. Shell has this program where they only accept technologies that are world-changing, not just technologies that are 20% better, but 40, 50 times better. And they graduated from a Shell Game Changer program after 3 years of Shell trying to kill it. Because the program is to kill the technology,
yes,
so that they don't waste time. So for 3 years, they failed to fail, and they graduated them in December. They have about 10 multi-billion-dollar companies interested in this, including Total Energies from Europe. So that's on the plastic side.
Yep.
The technology works now. They have a pilot, and they are building a commercial unit in the Netherlands that within, I would say, 1.5 to 2 years, they should start generating revenues from that. And a lot of times when I hear investors talk about, I don't want to touch Aduro because it has no revenues and I don't know how to value it, I always say, look, if you have cure for cancer, you don't have to worry about revenues.
Yep.
Okay? When you show that you have cure for cancer, you're going to have a line 10 miles long of people trying to buy your technology. So the focus is really on proving that the technology works, it can scale, and show that it can generate revenues on any level, and then the game is over. But recently, also, they, because of the oil background, they made a lot of noise about paraffinic oil in Utah. So Utah has a lot of paraffinic oil. It's waxy. It looks. There's two kinds, like one that looks yellow and one that looks black, and it's even worse than the oil in Canada, because the oil from Utah cannot be diluted to go through pipelines. The only way they can ship that oil is through heated rail, heated pipelines, or to sell this to the only 5 refineries in Utah. And because of that, Utah is capped at producing 185,000 barrels of oil per day, and they cannot increase their production unless they can use a technology like Aduro that can make that oil flow through pipelines. And just to give you an idea of how significant this is, especially now with the geopolitical tensions about the Iran and the Strait of Hormuz, wouldn't it be nice if U.S. could increase production of oil?
Yes.
And this solution alone for the region of Utah could increase or add value to this region by $1 trillion.
Wow.
That's it. Just Utah. $1 trillion. And if we're talking globally, all the heavy oil globally, that's $4 trillion worth of value that can be added. So now, if you're thinking of those kinds of numbers, how much value there is for recycling plastic, how much value there is for upgrading oil, a market cap of about 500 million, now all of a sudden doesn't sound too expensive. Just because today, 3 inches in front of your face, it doesn't have revenues.
Yeah. No, that's pretty amazing. So what you're basically getting at is it's solving a real problem, and it's uniquely solving a real problem, and it's got a huge TAM. And I've just curiously looking at the investor deck as well. So I see, addressable market just in the US, I believe, maybe $120 billion by 2030 for advanced chemical recycling of plastic waste. And then I see converting renewable oils to sustainable fuels, which I think is what you're alluding to, and the upgrading of heavy crude oil.
So that's a third vertical. The renewable oils is a third vertical. Plastics and oil are the first two, but they, as I said, their technology is a platform technology.
Yes.
So it can work with hydrocarbons, and there's so many different applications, including tires. I mean, once you start peeling the onion, you're like, I just published a video on my YouTube channel today because one guy put 87% of his portfolio into Aduro. And this guy has spent hundreds and hundreds of hours studying it, and he decided to do that. So, why? Why?
No, I see. I see. It seems to have a very unique technology. Does the company have any patents on that technology?
Yes, about 10 patents.
Okay, so it has 10 patents. So it's like a protected technology.
They are continually increasing their patent portfolio. And but usually retail investors don't get access to those kind of opportunities because this is such a VC type of investment, venture capital type of investment. And the reason why this company is public is because of COVID. See, during they were founded in 2011, and they were working on the oil and the plastic, and then in 2020 they were going to get acquired by an oil company.
Okay,
but as you know what happened in COVID in 2020, oil went negative, so there was no buyout or no acquisition. So then they kind of had to pivot fast and think of how they can access money, and then they listed at that point on Canadian Securities Exchange, CSE. And as you know, most people don't even know this exchange exists. But that's what they had to do, right? And then so that their market cap was like 20 or 30 million at that time. So I got involved in 2022 when their market cap was about $30 million.
Wow.
And then I think it was at the end of November 2024. It wasn't 2025, 2024, I think, where they uplisted to NASDAQ. But when they uplisted to NASDAQ, they had to uplist at a similar price that they had when they were trading on Canadian Securities Exchange. If this company went the traditional venture capital way, where it stayed private until ready to go public, it would have gone public at probably multi-billion-dollar valuation instead of what it is right now, $500 million. So it's, most of the time we do not get access to these kinds of things unless, we have great connections with the investment banks.
100%. And it seems like that kind of high upside technology, which, you're right, a lot of VCs look for. They look for those bets where it's a unique technology, high upside, a lot of partnerships in the pipeline, and then really in the world of government and big corporations, revenue today is not always the most important thing, because all you need is one deal or two deals or a few big deals, and then it really accelerates. And that's what obviously maybe an analyst who's looking purely at the day will not see. But obviously you saw that, hence why you've made a good return so far, and you're still holding strong. So obviously you have faith in the company. People actually putting their funds where their conviction is of course the number one signal that anybody looks for. And I see, just looking at their cap table, I see insiders make up 34%. In terms of the management team, given you're such a large shareholder, have you ever spoken to the management team? Do you speak to the management team, or are you more purely hands off?
No, I visited them. I visited the facility in person. I drove to Canada because their offices are in Ontario, Canada. I met the scientists. They presented me with the technology. It was amazing. When I went there, five PhDs with double PhDs were presenting to me. I was the dumbest person in the room, and and they definitely, because like when you're thinking about like these smaller companies, it's like these two extremes where some of them are like so crazy promotional, and then some of them, they don't even know what a stock exchange is, right? Those are the guys that were presenting to me. Like, like they have no idea where their stock trades. They just sleep and breathe chemistry. They're technologists at heart, which are always, if someone is a VC, those are the type of people that they always look to invest in. They're not looking for maybe the obvious ones that are very commercial minded initially, but okay, the people that have developed a raw technology, and I've just read upon the patents that the company has. So it looks very fascinating in terms of the company. And have you thought about how to value such a company, given you're looking at deals and cash flows out into the future, and obviously there could be a deal tomorrow or next week, but have you thought about the best way let's say a retail investor or somebody watching can look at, okay, how do they understand the value of it? Is it just market size, or do you look at other factors? The world produces 400 million tons of plastic every year.
Yes.
And that number just keeps going up. So if you add the individual verticals, whether it's renewable oil, bitumen, or heavy oil and plastic, I mean, that number is approaching $1 trillion.
Yes.
So, and Aduro has the monopoly.
Yeah.
There's nobody that has the solution. So you can take out your calculator and say, what is this company going to be worth if they capture 1% of or even one vertical?
Yes.
So if we're talking about the plastic vertical, and it has a 200 billion TAM.
Yeah, 120
if they
billion.
capture 1% of that,
Yeah.
This company is worth multiple billions of dollars.
Yeah.
But, like, do you think if they have a solution for plastic, they're only going to capture 1%?
No, it's
I mean, it's like saying, I have a cure for cancer.
Yeah.
We're just going to treat 1% of the people. The rest can go and die.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's nobody else that solves this.
Yep.
So, I mean, so there's all sorts of people making content right now, and they're even talking about a valuation of $1 trillion for this company. And it's just crazy, because when you think about how many recycling plants they can build, or how they can license this technology, one guy made a report where he talked about, the average price can be 758.
Yeah.
And now the stock price is 15 or 17.
Yeah.
And I actually made a hat. I'll show it to you. Here's the hat.
Yeah, 758. Let's see.
Based on his report, right?
Yes, based on his
report. But that's the thing, is that when people take the time to understand this company and take out the calculator, they can come up with prices like this. I didn't come up with the price, but $1,000 per share, absolutely. So what is stopping us from reaching that? Well, having the first revenue generating unit. You have that. That's when people start to believe. And big oil companies, they're not really going to invest right now. They want to wait for the unit to be built, which again is like a year and a half or 2 years. When you have a unit that does what they say it's going to do, you have a gold mine.
Yes.
And now, once they have a gold mine, you don't think other people want to have a gold mine?
Yeah.
So then we're talking about licensing. We're talking about building more units. Project financing. Then all of a sudden, people take out the calculators and they're like, "Oh my God, I have to own it." And that's what's happening right now. That's why you see the stock price going up. Because more and more people are connecting the dots, and earlier investors are putting up the money because they know down the road, when everything is proven, then the big money will come in.
Yeah. No, it seems fascinating, and a fascinating position, fascinating area. And I think you're completely right. Is often with any great business, it's the fundamentals of the business, the story, and the narrative and the understanding, and then people can jump onto that particular position as they understand it more. And it seems like the market is starting to understand the story and understanding. I think everybody's pretty clear that there is a plastic problem globally. People know that instinctively. And as you said, only 10% of the plastic in landfills gets recycled. So people know there's a problem. Our seas, our oceans are filled with plastic, even from an environmental point of view. So you've got the economic side, the environmental side. So it's patented. So as Buffett would say, you're looking for companies with a moat and a competitive advantage. Hence, I asked that question. So you're looking for a technology that cannot be copied and cannot be easily replicated. And so it seems to have all those ingredients.
So I would suggest, just because you hear me talk about it, don't go out and buy the stock. Right? Don't go and do some work, do your own research, because you can borrow my idea, but you cannot borrow my conviction.
Yes,
right?
of course.
But I think it's worth looking into it, researching it. Remember, I own 1% of the company. Most of my money is in this company.
Yes.
I'm not a crazy man.
Yes.
So there's a reason why I own it.
Yes, of course. So. Yes, exactly.
So that's it. So thank you very much for having me, Ben.
Yeah, great for you to be here. And as Mariusz said, this video is not financial advice or recommendation, but what it is a starting point for you then to look further into the position if it's of interest to you, and then make your own investing decisions. And if you're high conviction like Mariusz, then who knows? And we'll definitely have you back on the channel in the future to see how this stock develops. Okay, and I'll see you guys in the next one, and great to have you here, Mariusz.